So, about 2 years ago, I got a camera, and I really liked it because it was different, and it made me feel like it was an older camera that really brought me back to the retro feel of how photography used to be. Because I really love photography and just the way it is. I love the way that film is, the grain in the film, and just the color retention, and just the quality that you get when you're taking a picture with film. So I got this camera. This is the Fuji X-T1 16 megapixel mirrorless camera.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Kris's World. I am Kris, and first off, I just want to say Happy New Year 2023. We are in the new year, and this is the second chapter of my channel. Basically, we're going to get more into cameras and gear, whatever else you guys want to talk about, we're going to get into it. We're going to make sure that we cover everything we can in this new year and just get more into fun stuff, okay? So today we're going to be talking about a camera that I got 2 years ago, the Fuji X-T1 mirrorless DSLR camera. This camera is made from 2014. Well, it was released in 2014, but it actually does a very nice job at taking pictures. And I want to go over what this camera does and basically why I think it is still ideal to have in this year of 2023. But first off, before I get into this video, please hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and subscribe to my channel. The whole thing about this channel is helping people. So then if they have questions, I can answer them, because I'm all into this tech and gear or whatever it is with photography, because photography is my passion. I love this stuff. And I love taking pictures and just getting out there and shooting nice photos that tell a story. Anyway, please hit that like button, please subscribe, and ring the bell to get future notifications on when I post videos. Awesome. All right, well, let's get back into this video. So first off, let's talk about what this camera has to offer. This camera has a magnesium alloy body. It is weather resistant, and it has a active sensor. It has a sensor, it says, of 17 megapixels, but effective pixels are 16. It is an APS-C sensor, so it is a crop sensor. It's not full frame, okay? But because it is mirrorless, this camera will actually take pictures in low light much better than a mirrored camera. Now, don't think I'm trading for this for Nikon, because I love my Nikon cameras, okay? I love them, especially my Nikon D7000. I'm hooked on that camera. It's not going anywhere. But I picked up this camera because I thought it really looked cool. Just the way that this camera has the dials on top, and the way that this camera just feels like an old retro film camera. Back in the day when you had a film camera, you would just load up the film, open it up and just put it in, load it, and then you'd have to twist it, push it in, all that stuff. Well, of course, this is not what this is. This has a sensor that is just mirrorless, but it has a lot of features that make it feel like it's film, because you have the ISO on top, you have the shutter speed on top as well, and you have the exposure compensation. Of course, you have your record buttons, your shutter, and hot shoe, things like that. Now, there are cool things about this camera, and there's a lot of features with this camera, guys, okay? That's why I picked it, because it has a lot of things that you can actually use in this era of photography effectively and get some really amazing pictures, and they're easy to access as well. So one thing about this camera is it has a flip screen. Okay, so this flip screen will actually rotate just like that. I wish it was a side view flip screen, but you know what? I'm asking for too much if that's the case, because this camera was made in 2014. It is almost 10 years old. So you got to consider that. For its age, that's pretty cool. It does this. That way, if you want to hold it down and be like, oh, okay, that's a cool picture, I'm going to get this, and I can actually see it from this view. So if you want to actually put this camera like lower to the ground, you can see what you're taking a picture of in live view. So that's nice. Another awesome thing that this camera has to offer is it has Wi-Fi. This thing has Wi-Fi on it, believe it or not. So what you can do is you can download the Fujifilm app and actually download all your pictures to the app, to your smartphone or tablet, and have them right there on the fly. So this will actually not transfer raw photos, but of course JPEGs. And the thing about Fuji cameras, I've done a lot of research on this, is that they are known for their Fuji film simulation modes for these cameras. These Fuji simulation modes are pretty amazing for being a JPEG, okay? These are JPEGs that come out of this camera when you're using the film simulation mode. And, they're pretty fantastic. They look pretty close to how film used to look when you're using those. So that's a fun little feature. There's a lot of different filters on these cameras. It's different. So it makes it fun to take pictures. Of course, it's fun to take pictures with a mirrored camera. Of course it is. But this gives you a little bit more of a creative edge, say for portrait photography, or if you're doing a really cool moody landscape or something that makes you really want to try something different. It's just another tool for taking pictures. Now there is one downfall when you are using, when you do get this camera, the lenses are not that cheap. Because it is a mirrored system, they do take the XF mirrored lens system. So they do run a little bit more than a typical lens would. So say compared to a Nikon, they're gonna run you a little bit more than a Nikon would. So just something to think about when you are buying this. I just wanted to let you guys know that, so you guys understand that when you're getting into this kind of camera, you are buying into a different lens, of course, a different lens system. It is different, but it is a great camera to have, just say as a backup camera, or something that you want to try for your creative process to tell a story, something that makes you want to get more of your style going. Anyway, let's get more into the features of this thing. It has an EXR processor 2. It shoots photos in a color space of sRGB and Adobe RGB. It has X-Trans 2 CMOS sensor with a color filter put on it. The ISO in RAW goes all the way from 200 to 6400 ISO. Now I love this because I can easily shoot pictures with this camera in 1600 ISO. I've even gone to 2000 ISO and I do not see noise. There's only a little teeny bit maybe, but that's only in the darker areas. I am getting crispy, nice pictures with this camera and not feeling any kind of regret going up that high, which is nice because, on a typical mirrorless camera, if it's not full frame, mind you, if it's not full frame, because I use you know what I'm talking about, the crop sensor. I use those for primary cameras. I don't own a full frame camera, unfortunately, which someday maybe I will, you never know. But I love my Nikon DSLR, my D7000. I'm hooked on that camera, so you know what, I love it. Anyway, this has the same kind of sensor, but it does even better because it is mirrorless. So let's get on to the next things. If you're using JPEGs, it goes from 100 ISO to 51,200 ISO. That's insane for JPEGs. Okay, so that's crazy. I don't know what that looks like for quality, but it has a capability. Let's see. It goes, okay, so you can shoot up to 8 frames per second with this camera. You do have in the camera a mode of using the electronic shutter or the mechanical shutter, which is really cool. So if you don't want to wear out your mechanical shutter, which of course you can because moving parts do wear out, you can always use the electronic shutter. Of course, it will make a little shutter noise and all that stuff, which is interesting. Okay, you have autofocus. Let's see, you have facial detection mode, continuous single autofocus, live view, autofocus. Let's see what else there is. Of course, the screen tilts. Oh, and the viewfinder, of course, is electric, but it has an OLED viewfinder, which is 100%. So you're gonna get 100% of what you're seeing through your lens, and that's very nice. The current lens that I have for this camera is the 18 to 55 millimeter 2.8, and I'm gonna do a review on that lens in a later video, so then you guys can kind of get an idea what that lens does. For what it is, I'd say it's an amazing little lens, and it does a fantastic job for just the entry lens for this camera. Of course, there's a lot of other lenses that this camera will take because Fuji gets into their medium format cameras and things like that are way more expensive, have like an obscene amount of megapixels, like a 60 megapixel, even higher, I think. But we'll just keep the 16 megapixel. I'm good with that one. Let's see, what else do we have here that's important for you guys to know? It does not have a built-in flash. So when I got this camera, I ordered this as well. This is the flash that you can get with this. It is the EFX8 little flash. So what happens is when you put this on your camera, of course it has the hot shoe, but there's no flash right here. So you just put this right here, and it will just fold down like that. Okay, just so you guys can see. Okay, it will just fold down like that, and it's just boom, there it is. So if you can take it off, I mean, if you don't want it, you just take it off and it's gone. I just put a little hot shoe thing that I got. This is my little hot shoe cover. It is a little bug. Anyway, you be creative if you want. It has focus assist, so one nice thing about this camera is if you are using the manual focus mode, you can use a focus assist and it will show you like really close of how this, how the lens is focusing, so you can get a really nice crisp shot. That's if you're using it in macro mode, which this doesn't actually have a dedicated macro mode, but I think it used to. I think they did a firmware update and they got rid of it. But I'll get to that I'll get to that soon. That's another cool thing about this camera. But yes, if you are using focus assist with manual mode, you will be able to see really close up and get that really nice fine-tuned focus that you want with this camera. There's also, okay, so there's preview, you have bracketing, you'll have built-in panorama mode on this thing. Let me turn it on for a second. Let me just kind of give you a little more idea of what you're doing here. There's different filters. There's a toy mode. There's a lot of things like that. You have double exposure, single, continuous, slow continuous. And of course you have a little diopter on the top here. You have view mode. So if you just want to view everything in your viewfinder, you can. So you don't use the battery on this screen. The battery life, unfortunately, on these cameras really kind of isn't that great. I have bought extra batteries from Amazon, and I can leave the description below if you guys want to check those out. They're they're pretty decent for the price. I think I paid, what, 10 bucks for the whole charging set for 2 batteries and a charger, which is insane. I don't know if they're that price now, but they're probably around that range. But basically, here's the battery. I'm gonna show you guys right now. This is my Fuji battery, but it's just a little brick. And yeah, that's all that's really to this thing. If that will focus, there you go. Yeah, so it's not much for a battery, but you just replace these or just put, you know, get a bunch of them and you should be set. Since it is an older camera, they do burn up a little bit faster. If you're using your viewfinder, they will not burn up that fast. If you're using your live view on the back of the screen, if you're doing video work, yeah, I would say they will pretty quick. That's something to think about too. So carry extra batteries. Let's see, I got the little button on the front here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Manual, automatic, manual, continuous, and single. That's where that is right there. So that's for focusing right there, okay? This has, of course, the spot metering. You have center weight and of course the matrix. This thing is loaded with features. What else do I have? Oh, there's also time-lapse recording on this, so that's a fun feature. And it has an optional, you can get an optional GPS thing with this as well, an optional little dongle. The only downfall about this camera, besides maybe battery life, is the fact that it only has one SD card slot. Now on the XT2, they upgraded this. They put 2 card slots. The only reason I didn't get the XT2 was because XT2 was literally like $200 more. And I'm like, I am not paying $200 more for the camera that I want. Because to be honest, I've always wanted this camera. And I finally got it, and I'm really happy about it. But you know, and I've heard that the sensor is actually different. I believe they upgraded it to, oh gosh, what is it? A 24 megapixel sensor. Now, also, just so you guys know, I'm not a sponsor of Fuji whatsoever. I'm just doing this video on my own free time, and basically because I just want to show how cool this little camera is. This camera is actually pretty small. It fits in the palm of my hand. It's not heavy. It is very lightweight. So, and it almost can fit in your pocket, for crying out loud. You just have to make sure you get a screen protector on this thing for sure, okay? You have focus lock, or exposure lock. You have, man, there's so many things on this camera. And I'll do a video just basically on the settings as well for this camera so you guys can see what I'm going through. Now, well, I just want to mention this too, that I haven't used this camera a ton. I have not. So the menu features are kind of new to me. There's not a ton for you to be worried about, but you know, I'm still learning on this camera because it's not my primary camera. My primary camera is my Nikon. So, but it is a fun camera, definitely something to add to your bundle of creativity and your bag. Anyway, that's it, guys. That's all I have to say. But if you have any more questions, please let me know. This camera is definitely fun for if you want to get into mirrorless. I'd say this is your cheapest option if you want to get into mirrorless. All right, you could do something else, but for an SLR with interchangeable lenses, this is probably one of your best bets to get into a mirrorless camera. That's why I wanted to get it.
Also, one more thing before we end this video, I just wanted to add, I'm going to be making a video specifically on the sample images so you guys can see the quality that you'll get with this camera and the color and just everything that you guys want to see when you're using this camera. Alright, so stay tuned for that video. It will be coming soon.
Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please of course hit that like button. Please subscribe to my channel. That makes a huge difference to me. And if you want to, ring the bell because that makes a huge difference so that you guys can get those notifications when I post new videos. Also guys, if you would like to, I really would appreciate it. There is a little link in my profile page for YouTube. It is called Buy Me a Coffee. I also leave a link in the description below so you guys can go ahead and do that if you'd like to. It says a little donation, a little funding for my channel if you like, so you guys can help me out, get more equipment, so then I can help more people on any questions that they might have, and it just supports my channel so then I can make a difference in other people's lives. If you'd like to, that'd be awesome. If not, I understand. It doesn't matter. I'm here to help you guys and help make a difference and just try to get more information out there that people might need. All right. Also, a little thought for the day: never give up on your goal. I promise, whatever you might be going through, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Just so you guys, if anyone needs that, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Please take care of yourself. Hope you're doing well. Bye.
If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to get notified when new videos get posted. Thank you for watching this video. Please consider checking out some of the other videos on the links at the end of this video.